you ever struggled with makeup meltdowns, like your makeup just starts creasing throughout the day or separating or it just looks cakey? Well, in this video, I'm going to help you learn how to completely prevent that by using the science of makeup, how to read your labels. I'm going to teach you why it's important to be using clean brushes and pay attention to the expiration dates on your products. I'm Lauren D'Amelio Ventre, and I've been in this industry for over 16 years. I work in bridal and film. I work on a lot of TV shows. I've been featured on TV shows and have worked with celebrities on MTV, Bravo, VH1, and so many more. So all of them, what do they have in common? They need their makeup to look flawless from the moment that I put it on to the time that they have to take it off, which could be up to 24 hours later in some filming sessions, or even my brides who start getting ready at 5 a.m. and don't finish partying till the next day at 5 a.m. So what are the secrets to creating this flawless face that's going to outlast any day? I'm going to tell you in this video. With this video, I know it could be a lot of information, so I'm going to give you a little bit of a giveaway. It's going to be a resource that you can download at theartoфenhancement.com/07. You're also going to be able to click this link right here or below to download this free resource. So in this download, I'm going to give you an ingredient list that will help you remember what ingredients you should be looking for on that list that will determine if they're silicone-based or water-based, which I'm going to get into in a little bit. I promise you I'm going to break it down for you. I'm also going to give you a list of some products that are water-based and that are silicone-based, just so that you start to get familiar with what products work together and what products do not work together. I put out videos like this every week, so make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss any of my tips and tricks. So how do you prevent your makeup from creasing, breaking apart, or just looking cakey throughout the day? I'm gonna dive in right now to tell you exactly what I do to prevent all of these makeup malfunctions. First, I wanna start off with the importance, and it's probably one of the more basic things, the importance of having clean brushes. Clean brushes are so important, because if you're using, even just on yourself, for makeup artists, pro makeup artists, this is a whole different story. Your brushes should always be clean for every single client. I have a whole nother video, you could go watch it after this, on how to properly clean your brushes if you're a makeup artist, and if you're not a makeup artist, it's also a great video so that you know what to do. But a clean makeup brush versus a dirty makeup brush, they're going to give you two totally different applications. A clean makeup brush is going to give you a much more flawless airbrush look, where the dirty brushes start accumulating dead skin, bacteria, just build up inside the brush, making them a little bit tougher and kind of will create streaks in your makeup. But that bacteria and that dead skin and that oil will also make your makeup that you're applying start to oxidize much faster. And what happens when makeup oxidizes, it breaks apart, it turns a different color. So really making sure you're working with clean brushes is going to be one of the most basic and important steps to creating a flawless face. The next thing that you really want to start paying attention to is the expiration dates on your products. On most products, it will be on the physical product. If it's not there, it's definitely on the box that it came in. What you want to look for is this little open jar. It's very hard to see. I'll put a little picture right here so you could see some examples. But this is just a powder palette by Jaclyn Hill, and it's for brightening under the eyes or whatever area of the face you would like to brighten. This says 12M on the little open jar. That's the symbol that you want to look for, is this just little open jar, and inside the jar it will say either 12M or 6M or 1Y. So when you're looking at that, it's telling you how long that product is good for from the time you open it. So you should start paying attention to how long you've had things. Mascaras typically anywhere from, I say 3 to 6 months. I know most of the labels say 6, but mascara can really start to harbor bacteria, and you don't want to give yourself an eye infection. And also it starts getting flaky, and you'll get fallout, and then you'll get the black under the eyes. Never a good look. So paying attention to the expiration dates on your products is major, especially with fluids. Anything cream or fluid, if you're using past that expiration date, it will start to separate. It will be a different color than it originally was. It just does not perform as well. Just like when food expires or anything that you would ingest, you want to make sure you're not putting that on your body either, because again, just bacteria could build up. It's not going to perform as well as it should be performing. So looking at that little label, maybe even having like a little notebook if it's your personal makeup when you opened each thing, so that you know when you should get a new one. I know if you're just using it like maybe weekly, you might not run through it in 6 months or even 12 months, but that product you should not be using past that life expectancy. Expiration labels are there for a reason, so pay attention to them. Again, you not only could be experiencing makeup that is separating or creasing or maybe looking cakey, but it also can cause you to break out, or an eye infection, or any other skin irritations that you might be seeing could definitely be coming from expired products or dirty brushes. The third thing that you really need to start paying attention to, and this is going to completely change your makeup game, this is going to ensure that every application that you apply to yourself or a client comes out flawless, doesn't separate, doesn't crease, and doesn't look cakey throughout the day, and will last you the entire day. So, what is it? Ingredients. We need to start focusing on the science behind makeup. Think of it like water and oil. If you try to put those two things together, they just do not mix. So you have to start thinking about what your products are made out of. Normally your products don't have an ingredient list on the actual bottle or container. Normally it's on the box or a little insert that's in the box, or you can simply go on Sephora.com or on the website of the product, and they will have an entire ingredient list of what makes up that product. I'm just gonna hold up these wipes for now, the Neutrogena wipes. They have the ingredient list right on it. So I'm just showing you what to look for. I will also have examples of an ingredient list here that is going to be a silicone-based ingredient list. I want you to start thinking of silicone almost as like the water and oil. You're gonna think of that more as like the oil. So silicone does not mix well with water. It's going to separate, it's gonna slip. If you're using a silicone-based primer or moisturizer and then throwing a water-based foundation on top, it's just going to slide right off. It's gonna separate, it's gonna look cakey. So really start paying attention to this. Now, how do you know if a product is silicone-based? On that ingredient list that you're going to look up on the website or look at the box prior to, throwing it out once you get it, you can start marking your products with like a Sharpie, W, or S. I think that's the best way to start really remembering water-based or what products are silicone-based. This way, when you go to grab them, you don't have to look at the product list every time, or marking it with like a certain color nail polish, just like a little dot, so you know water-based or silicone-based. So now how do you know if it is silicone-based? In the first 8 ingredients in that product list, towards the top, so if there's more ingredients, if there's less ingredients, whatever is towards the top, maybe first line or 2 of the ingredient list, if you see dimethicone or cyclomethicone, those are the 2 most popular silicone derivatives that are in cosmetic products right now. So those are things that you want to look for. Anything really ending in cone, that is going to be your dead giveaway that this is a silicone-based product. This is going to be your way of remembering, okay, if I put this under a water-based product, that it is not going to work together. Now, here's the tricky thing, right? Water is what makes things fluid. So water can still be the very first ingredient in a silicone-based product. So if you see agua or water as the very first ingredient, that does not mean that it is water-based, because if it is followed by cyclomethicone or dimethicone in the first few ingredients, it is still a silicone-based product. It means it has a lot of that in it. So when you're reading the ingredient list, the higher up on the ingredient list means that has the most of that ingredient in it. The lower down on the ingredient list means it has the least of that ingredient in it. So remember that. That's a really good tip. It can still have water or agua as the first ingredient, especially if it is a liquid product. But remember, if dimethicone or cymethicone is directly following it, it still has so much of that silicone in it that it is going to be a silicone-based product. Now, water-based products will most likely have water or agua as the very first ingredient, and then you will not see cyclomethicone or dimethicone following it. It could be very low on it, but normally it doesn't have it at all. That would be considered a water-based product. So like I was saying, if you use a silicone-based primer or moisturizer or any skincare under a water-based foundation, that is not going to work. Remember the water and oil theory, they're not going to mix well, they're not going to mesh. But there's an exception to the rule. If you use water-based products like moisturizers or primers under a silicone-based product, the water-based products absorb into the skin. So all of that water is going to be now absorbed into the skin, so you can actually layer a silicone-based product on top of it. I know this sounds like a lot. I will have bullet points in the download for you to remember all of this stuff so you don't have to constantly rewatch, but once you get it and once that clicks and that light bulb goes off, it will all make sense and your makeup will literally look flawless and stay so well. This is going to be one of the best things that you learn, I promise, right here on YouTube, to just start remembering this stuff because you will completely change your makeup game. The biggest thing is, and my best advice, pro tip, would be to just try to match your base. If you're using a silicone-based primer, use a silicone-based foundation. If you're using a water-based primer, you can still use the silicone-based foundation on top of it, but just stick with the water-based. Now, why do we use silicone-based products? They typically are more water-resistant, transfer-resistant, sweat-resistant. They're great for all-day wear. So most of my kit has silicone products in it because I know that they are going to last the longest on the face. They're going to just look good throughout the entire day. They're not going to absorb into the skin and oxidize as fast as a water-based product will. Not saying that there aren't great high-performing water-based products. If you find ones that last you all day and you love, absolutely use them, they're great. But if it is a humid and hot day, or if it's raining, or if they're crying, water from the tears, or water in the air, or moisture in the air, will start breaking down that water-based product, where it will not break down the silicone-based product, okay? It will just kind of slip off. If they're crying, the tears will roll over the silicone-based products. If they have a water-based product foundation on, it will actually break through that and you'll get those lines down the face. So really good if you know you're gonna be emotional, if you know it needs to stay on all day, or if you're in a really hot, humid and hot environment or under heavy lighting, make sure you go with the silicone-based. Now, when you use silicone-based products, you want to make sure you're double cleansing at night or telling your clients to double cleanse. And what that means is to maybe use like a balm first that really breaks apart any waterproof makeup, anything that will really just break down the makeup on the face, and then go in with your face wash. So you're double cleansing. And then normally I like to do a toner after that as well. So if you want to consider it a triple cleanse, go for it. But you want to get all of that out of the pores. Whenever you're wearing a lot of makeup, or if you're applying a lot of makeup to a client, let them know this stuff because you don't want them to have clogged pores, you don't want them to break out. A lot of silicone products you will also find now that are non-comedogenic, which means they will not clog the pores. This is going to be a good word to Google search the products if you are worried about wearing a product every day on your own skin. So you're not worried about your pores getting clogged or breakouts or anything like that. So if you are prone to breakouts, search that word, figure out what makeup will not clog you up, especially if you do need to wear it every day, or if you're working on clients that are on set every day, you don't want to cause breakouts. So let's just quickly review. It's very important to have clean brushes. It's very important that your makeup products are not expired. And it's very important to understand the science behind makeup. Always try to match your base. That is going to be your best bet, using silicone-based primers with silicone-based foundations, using water-based primers with water-based foundations. You cannot go wrong. Again, the exception to the rule, you can use a water-based moisturizer and primer under a silicone-based foundation. And the same goes with your concealer. If you're using a silicone-based foundation and then a water-based concealer on top of that, it can start breaking it down. So just try to match your base. That is going to be a huge game changer for you. If you like this video, please remember to go down, give it a thumbs up, subscribe so that you could never miss another one of my tips, and go follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is Lauren_D'Amelio. I can't wait to see you in our next videos, and I really hope that you enjoyed all of this. If you decide to create any content, please tag me on socials and I will repost. I can't wait to see your work. And don't forget to download your free resource with all of my tips from today's video. Hope you enjoy. Have a great day, guys. See you next week. Bye, guys.